And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show. It is Tuesday, December 17th, and I am Josh Engleman, here to break down one game. NBA Cup Finals, Milwaukee, Oklahoma City. That is what we have ahead of us for today. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. I'm repping the Bucks today too, even though I'm cheering for OKC, but I don't have an Oklahoma City shirt. Probably need to acquire one. But all I got is the Bucks. So we're repping Bucks today. Should be a fun game. I'm excited to see it. We've got projections and ownership loaded. We're going to build a couple lineups and then we're going to dip on out of here. Everybody that's normally available is available. There's nothing really interesting on the injury report. We don't have any Q tags or any news that we're waiting on. No Usman Jang. That's it, basically. Obviously, Chet out. All the other guys that are normally out for OKC are out. Milwaukee's got everybody in. Giannis probable, Dame probable, Middleton probable. So we kind of have everything we would want to know right out of the gate, which means the next thing that we have to do is just simply build lineups. Because from a breakdown perspective, it's going to be more about the lineup construction. Clearly, the expectation is going to be slightly increased minutes to all the people you know and love. How many increased minutes they play is up in the air. I think you're live in a competitive matchup to see all these main dudes play like 40 or potentially more. That is not how I have it projected just yet, but that's not where the markets support, but it's feasible. What do we got going on for today? So we got 100K up top on DraftKings. That's going to be a 25% to first large contest. You guys have anything good yesterday? Anything good? I've got everything pulled up now. Look, we're probably going to be here half hour is my guess. So hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Jeremy, nice. It's good to see. Jeremy, one question. I realize that I've never asked you this. Is there a reason the G in Savage is capitalized? Is that like... I'm just curious. I don't even have a thought process here. I've looked at it every day for however many years at this point. I never asked. I couldn't even speculate. I mean, if you want me to speculate, you brought this on yourself. I assume it's user error. You were struggling to type, couldn't figure out what was going on, accidentally capitalized it, stuck with it, moving forward. That seems to be the leader in the clubhouse for me. I think you might tell me something different. No reason. Okay. I don't know. Just for some reason, when I looked to my right and saw it today, I noticed it. And I don't think I've ever noticed it before like that. Real G's do move in silence like lasagna. That is a true statement. I believe that is complete fact. That's a wholehearted truth. Let's build some lineups. Contrarian spelling of Savage. I like it. All right, Pete Wheeler. Vegetable lasagna is not a real thing. There's no such thing as vegetable lasagna. That's just a salad with noodles in it. Hot salad. You guys ready to build some lineups? I am. I love this. So let's take a look at ownership for right now. Giannis coming in on DraftKings, 25% owned in the captain spot. Shay coming in at 20% owned in the captain spot. Now, Shay captain salary wise, $1,500 cheaper than Giannis, but you're also giving up 9 fantasy points. Then you see the big drop off. The gap between the third highest projected guy and second is 13 points between Shay and Jalen Williams. I think a very interesting dynamic for a build is right here. If Damian Lillard is this low owned in the captain spot, and it makes sense. He's $800 more expensive than Jalen Williams, but doesn't project as well. He's not as expensive as Shay, but Shay projects way better. The value on Dame is low. I don't know if we'll be able to salvage a Dame captain lineup with enough value, but he is the guy that stands out to me first. I think Hartenstein looks solid there if you wanted to go value-wise. I know Jose Morales asked me, can we sim a Hartenstein captain lineup? Let's start with it. So let's get Hartenstein in. It feels like we're going to need one of Dame or Giannis. I'm going to try Shay, Dame, let's see here. I'm going to go Isaiah Joe, AJ Green, and then we have 7,900 left, which would give us Brook Lopez, I guess. So that leaves 900 on the table. Let's get the tracker out as well. So first lineup that we're running, 205.68 projection, 183.2 ownership. I don't have a feel for this, so we're going to find out a lot about this slate. I'm guessing negative. I don't have a great... Yeah. All right, negative 36. So we're starting to build out our thought process for this slate. I'm going to clear that entire lineup, and I'm going to try to build what I believe is the best possible lineup. And that means that I'm going to go Shay in the captain spot. We're going to get Giannis. We're going to get Hartenstein. I'm going to go Kenrich Williams. Now, if I go Joe, does that put me back at Brook Lopez? That gives me Cason Wallace. So 5-1 with just Giannis. 224 is the projection. So we increased the projection here by almost 20. Massive increase to ownership as well, but not all that surprising. But we're learning now what our range is. We're learning where we need to be in total. I anticipate this being positive. If it's like 80 or 90, I might just turn the stream right off. Because the Czar's just that good. I'm not expecting it, but it feels like it could happen. Okay. We're in the clubhouse with a winner so far. 31.9% ROI. SGA captain, Giannis, Hartenstein, Kenrich Williams, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace. Now, just out of curiosity, if I get rid of Joe and go to Wiggins, that saves me 800. Can I upgrade Cason Wallace? I cannot. How different is that leaving a bunch of salary on the table? Takes me down 2 fantasy points and not nearly enough ownership. This should be lower than 31.9. No shit. All right. So that slight ownership discount paid some dividends there. We're up to 47.7. This feels a little bit better than the last time I did this. Now the goal, we need 50. So let's break this back down again, break it down to the top end. Let's see what we can do if Giannis is the captain. Giannis is the captain now. Let's try it with Ooh, let's try it with Jalen Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein, Aaron Wiggins, Kenrich Williams, and Chris Middleton. 220.13. So we're down a little bit in projection. We're way down in ownership, though. I'm intrigued by this. I think this could be the better one. 74. 71. I said the numbers in the wrong order. 76.1 in reverse. Thought we had that. I thought we had that. Let's get away from some of these value guys that we have in there and see if we can mix that up a little bit. What if we balance that a little bit more? We get AJ Green. I'm going to go Kenrich again just because of the ownership. That leaves us 5,700, which is enough for Case and Wallace. 218 and 218. This is probably going to be a little lower as well. We're going to have a hard time building good Lillard lineups. Yeah, we're right in that 30% range again. Let's test out what a Dame captain lineup looks like, because I think it's just going to be not very good. Because look at that. 4% ownership will help us, but he is the clear worst value of the four good dudes. At least as of right now. So if we get Dame in theory, if we're taking Dame, we almost have to leave off. Well, we could treat this like a Milwaukee win. If we go Dame and Giannis, we're going to be in some deep shit from a salary perspective. Now, at that point, if this goes wrong, I like the idea of Wiggins. Actually, I kind of prefer the idea of Joe trying to shoot them back in it. Case and Wallace probably plays regardless in that scenario. I think we can get AJ Green, and then that leaves us 10K, which could be Hartenstein. So I don't even have to go this deep. Can I find like a mid-tier Milwaukee guy? I guess that doesn't really exist. Let's see if we can do something with Middleton and Dort. 202.2. See, we're giving up too many fantasy points here, I think. Yeah, we gave up so many fantasy points, it's hard to run it down. It's hard to run it down. I'm going to run that again. Dame captain, we need fantasy points more than anything. So I'm actually going to try to get Giannis, Jalen Williams. That's where I'll go Wiggins. Joe, and then 5,600 left over. No, that's not going to be the right area. If I go Wallace, then I can get Trent. I don't hate that. 3-3 up to 210.5. It's going to be too much ownership. All I'm seeing right now is that it's very difficult to build out a lineup with Dame at captain and feel good about it. Yeah, negative 20 again here. DB, I don't have thoughts on the game script. That's not a thing to me. Wiggins at captain. First Kings. There is a 0% chance I will build that lineup. 0. But yeah, DB, it's not. I don't tend to think about game script. There are infinite game scripts. I just don't see it with Dame. I just don't see it with Dame. Who could we use as a really different captain? Let's try Cason Wallace at the captain spot, who's a pretty good value relative to that captain salary. Middleton had a triple-double against them the last time you played them. Just out of curiosity, big facts. When was that? All right. If we go Wallace, then we're going to have a bunch of salary. We could probably get 3 of the pay-ups, I hope. We can go Jalen Williams, Giannis. I'm going to look at Kenrich Williams there. Now, that leaves me 8,500 for the final 2 guys, which I kind of like that range. Now, if I go Brook Lopez, can that give me Dame? Nah, leaves me Shay. That's a shame. So if I go Dame, leaves me 6,200. That gets me Dort. 211, 201. Yeah, I'm not expecting much here. I think that's a slightly different game, big facts. Man, this is tough. I'm just not seeing lineups that I like very much outside of the main dudes at the top. We're just giving up way too many fantasy points. Way too many fantasy points. Wallace, Giannis, SGA, Hartenstein, Dort, Williams. I'll try it. Wallace, Giannis, SGA, Hartenstein, Dort, Kenrich Williams. I think this is going to be really bad. First Kings, I hear you, man. You're incredibly annoying this morning. Oh, 3%. All right. To travel without orders. Good work. Good work. Hey, anything positive is good. Christian, I'm not confident in that one, but let's find out. Hey, John C., let's not bring those facts into this equation for over Wiggins. But yes, I agree. Although I feel like this matchup is a little different for him, but that's neither here nor there. OKC is going to trim minutes. We just don't know who it's going to be. So where did that lineup go? All right, that was Isaiah Joe. And then Giannis, SGA, Hartenstein, Wallace, Lopez. 218, 6, 220. It might be too much ownership. We could probably turn Wallace into something different there. Yeah, I kind of figured here. All right, the path to the best lineup. Let's think this through the way that we really think we should build a lineup. I don't need thoughts on how people are going to play. This is a data game. Now let's think about this. As we look at these captain options, Giannis at 25%, SGA at 20%, Jalen Williams at 13%, Isaiah Hartenstein at 12%, Dame at 4%. You can see where the line in the sand is right here between Hartenstein and Brook Lopez. Isaiah Hartenstein at the captain spot is projected with 20 more fantasy points than anybody else here. So I think we really do want to consolidate to try to build our best lineup in one of these 5 guys at captain. As I look at it, it feels like Shay is the best option. If it's not Shay, I do think that it's Isaiah Hartenstein if we can spend enough salary on the opposite end. So if it's Shay, then we're going to look at value. Giannis, on a point per dollar basis, is the 4th best value of anybody on here. It seems to me that Giannis and Hartenstein are the 2 next guys in because that's the most efficient way to pay up for bulk projection. Then we need to figure out if we prefer Cason Wallace or Caruso. And in this case, I'm going to try Caruso because I don't think we've clicked that name yet. Now that leaves us $2,800 a person for the final 2 spots, which means if we take Aaron Wiggins, we have $3,600 left, which isn't necessarily the best range. We could take like Kenrich Williams and Joe. We can't take Cason Wallace. If we take AJ Green, then we have to grab one of those OKC guys. I'm going to try AJ Green and Kenrich Williams. I think this is like the best value we could build. It's at 222, 30s, 40s, 24. Okay. All right, let's think about some names that we haven't talked about yet. Kevin says Dort captain. Muhammad Boss says Bobby Portis. Those are 2 names that we really haven't looked at yet. So let's see what we can do. I would rather go to Dort in that captain spot, Kevin, but I think we can try to get Bobby Portis into this lineup here. So let's start it off with Dort and Bobby Portis, and then let's try to build this out in the best way that we can. If we're gonna go with Portis, it feels hard to want to go to like Giannis and Lopez. So if it's Portis, I think we got to go Shay as the next pay up. Let's try Kenrich Williams because I think he's the best combination of both of these things. $9,600 a piece for 2 more guys, which means we can get 1 pay up and 1 we can get 2 pay ups. Can we 19? We're $600 short. Wait, what's the difference in price? Yeah, it's only $400. That would have been great. I thought we were going to be able to get a really nice lineup there, but we're going to be $200 short. Let's have this conversation. Hartenstein is going to struggle with rebounds today. Milwaukee on the season, dead last in offensive rebounds, 11th in defensive rebounds. There is not a better situation for defensive rebounding than facing the Milwaukee Bucks. Tony, you got this completely backwards. Completely backwards. There is no team worse at stopping defensive rebounds than Milwaukee on this season. No one worse. Dead last by a full percentage point. 9,600 apiece. 9,600 apiece. I don't want it to be Giannis, but it feels like it has to be Giannis, which then lets me think, if I take Dame, how bad does this get? Yeah, we end up losing too much salary there. If I take Jalen Williams, that gives me Brook Lopez. Could just be something happens to Giannis type date. 195.1. We've cratered ownership, but the projection is long gone. Yeah, look at that. That is the perfect representation of what we need to talk about here. Negative 80 ROI. And you can see why. We are 27 fantasy points away from a lineup that we built with a 48% ROI. From 195, we needed to get up into like the high 218, 19, 20, 21s. So we could tell right away, if we're not getting this projection north of like 215, we're probably not going to be in sniffing distance of where we want to be for building out good lineups. Big facts. I'm going to build this one just on the hope that it's as bad as I think it will be. Chris Middleton, Giannis, Hartenstein, Dame, Wallace, Kenrich Williams. We got the projection to 209. I think Middleton in the captain spot is going to kill it. Yeah, negative 20. I'll build one or two on FanDuel. I hate Showdown on FanDuel. I think it's really unfun to play. So definitely taking SGA in the MVP spot. He's almost half as owned as Giannis at a cheaper salary with not all that different of a projection for what we're getting here. Giannis is the better play, but he's not cost efficient for the ownership. So I'm going to go Shay, which means we're going to leave Giannis out of this lineup. Star will be Dame. Pro will be Jalen Williams. Utility will be Gary Trent and Cason Wallace. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, negative 40. Yikes-a-roni. Seems to me that I need to redo whoever's in the pro spot. That probably needs to become Isaiah Hartenstein. That leaves me 9K at utility. Be like Caruso and Wallace. Ooh, Caruso and Middleton. Anybody that says they know ball doesn't know ball. That I know for sure. Ooh, negative 25. All right, X-Eagle watch. Let's do it. Giannis, SGA, Jalen Williams, AJ Green, Kenrich Williams. See what we get here. Negative 5. All right, time to actually build a lineup that shows up positively. Going Shay because of ownership there. Feels difficult to want to get away from Giannis here. If I go Jalen there, I could go Dame here. Trent, Wallace. I think this one sucks too. This is hard. It's hard. Okay, we got to a positive FanDuel lineup. I will take that for what it's worth. And now I'll do the final one for the Prince. I really hope this sucks, but you might have done it already and you're cheating. Shay, Hartenstein, Dame, Middleton, Caruso. Come on, negative 40. Come on, negative 40. Come on, negative 40. Negative 27. Nailed it. Good work, Prince. Good work. Whew. Let's get out of this FanDuel nonsense. Okay. It's going to be the final lineup that I tried to build for this. Ultimately, I expect OKC to win this game. I think the defense will be good. Having Hartenstein for this matchup is really big. I think that Andre Jackson is not going to get a ton of run here. I don't think you're going to get very far just having like a defensive specialist against OKC. Someone else is going to cook. And then when OKC is on defense, if Andre Jackson's on the floor, they are going to make life way easier for the Thunder. I don't think in a competitive game like this against a defense like Oklahoma City, you can afford to have Andre Jackson out there very long. He's just such a zero offensively that it's going to allow OKC to basically play 5-on-4. So I'm not a big believer in Andre Jackson for this matchup today, which leads me to want to get to like your Gary Trent types. So if this game goes the way that I think it's going to go, it's got to be Shay for me in the captain spot. It just does. You can make a case for Jalen Williams. I'm going to do that. Jalen Williams, I think it's tough sledding for Dame. Can I do Jalen, Shay, and Giannis? And then Wiggins. Nah, it can't be Wallace. Wiggins, Kenrich, who's best? Oh, it is, and then Wallace. I think I built this one already, but 222.5. Wait, is this legitimately that lineup? No, I built slightly higher than that and lower ownership. This is going to be the one. 57.2. 20. What? 20. 20. 20. Man, slightly higher projection, slightly lower ownership. I thought I found it here. Mohammed, I see it the exact opposite way. I don't think this matchup screams Bobby Portis at all. I think it screams the exact opposite. The problem is they don't have the opposite. Man, I thought that was going to be it. What can we tweak on those final three guys to make it a little bit better? There's no other way to do that one, I don't think. Wiggins, Kenrich. In theory, I guess we could test Caruso, but that drop, I don't think that's going to be... I think we're giving up too many points there. Thought we had it. Yeah, 23. We just seem to be sitting in this, 20 to 50 range. Just out of curiosity, if I pull Giannis and go to Dame in that spot, does paying up somewhere else offset it enough? I doubt it. Wiggins, Kenrich, and then we do Brook Lopez. That takes me down to 209, but that's a very large discount in ownership. It's a very large discount in ownership. Negative 3.8. Yeah, wow. It is really difficult to build anything good with Damian Lillard right now. Wiggins, Dort, Trent. That's probably going to suck too. It's giving me a headache too, Jeremy. Yeah, -3. -3. Well, guys, here's the deal. We're not expected to have much news throughout the day. Everybody's injury report seems to be set in stone. We're going to pay close attention to the markets, see if anything's implying more playing time than we've already given it. These guys did get a bump, but we're going to break this down a lot later tonight. We'll have a better feel, better dialed in ownership. We could see value move around. I'm really interested to see if Dame picks up more ownership, because then it'll feel really good to me to not necessarily be there. But we'll have lots of changes throughout the day. We've got NFL strategy show today coming up next at 10 o'clock. We'll be back live later tonight for this Cup game. Unfortunately, we can't do playback because it's a national TV game. But this is what we're doing. We're using the single lineup sim to build out whatever we can find. Actually, let's do one thing before I get out of here. I want to see what the actual top lineup created is on DraftKings. So I'm going to do 5,000 lineup pool. Let's generate that. We'll generate the contest, and then we'll take a look. Let's see what we get here. I want to know what the true top end is coming out of the Sims. Let's simulate these lineups. Got 25% to first. Let's let it rip. I'm guessing we're going to get in like the 70s or 80s. Hartenstein, Kenrich. Okay. So you can see that we can get up into the 225 range. But that 215 range seems to be the sweet spot. That you can see these projections right here. 216, 216, 216, 214, 218, 210. Seems like getting out of that 220 range is where we really wanted to be, and that's where we shave back some of that ownership. Just out of curiosity, what is at the top? If I take the top 20, Brook Lopez ends up being the top guy at 7K. Aaron Wiggins, best sim ROI guy. That's an interesting build. Brook Lopez, AJ Green, Giannis, Isaiah Hartenstein, Kenrich, and Shay. Now, one thing I think is very clear. We're not seeing a ton of Damian Lillard around these parts. We look at that quickly. Dame ended up in 20% at the flex. Pretty negative option so far. That's where we're at, guys. We took a lap through it. We know the guys that are available. We know where the value is. We know what sort of dance we have to play with the pay-up options for tonight's slate. I can't wait to watch this game, but I'll be back a little bit later to break all of this stuff down. Thank you guys for being here. Sign up for Stokastic. Link in the description of this video. Get a month for $0 as long as you sign up through one of our affiliates. So guys, Let's have some fun tonight. Oh, final question before we leave. Chat. Who wins the NBA Cup? Obviously, my answer is Oklahoma City. Sorry to the Milwaukee Bucks shirt, but my expectation is OKC. Tony thinks the Bucks. First Kings thinks the Bucks. That makes me feel better. Eagle Watch says Bucks. Steven says OKC and they cover. First Kings, I hope you're betting on that because that would be quite the take. You better be here Thursday morning, hat in hand, when you're wrong. I'm with Steven. OKC and they cover. This is the first championship they win this year. Second one coming in a little bit. This is going to be fun. Great game tonight. I'll see you guys later on.